Priestess Transmission. Conversations beyond the noise, where truth rises and the soul remembers. You are here. Take a breath and arrive. This is the Priestess Transmission with Lily, a sacred space beyond the noise, where ancient wisdom, soul truth, and the divine feminine rise. Here, we remember who we truly are. Here, your heart, your voice, and your soul are honored. Step into the conversation and let your inner priestess awaken.
Hello, beautiful souls. How are you? It is eclipse energy, baby. Release, surrender, remember, and become. And as we move forward into this partial lunar eclipse on Friday, the 28th of August, I want to take a moment to talk about the energy surrounding this eclipse and, more importantly, what it is asking of us. This is a full moon in Pisces, and we've just had a powerful Leo solar eclipse on the 12th of August. We are moving through this beautiful eclipse corridor, and energetically, I feel there is a story unfolding between these two eclipses. The Leo solar eclipse is asking us, what are you ready to courageously step into? And now the Pisces is asking us, what must you surrender so that you can actually become her? For me, this is a very clear movement here. Release, surrender, remember, and become. And I think this is such a powerful invitation because the energy of Pisces is deeply connected to intuition, dreams, emotions, and the unseen places and the unseen realms within us that don't always speak through logic. And this isn't necessarily an energy that is asking us to do more or asking us to hold more at this moment. It's asking us to release, to start to be discerning of the places and spaces that we wish to show up in. I know that for myself, in order to stay focused, grounded, and not be swept away in other people's energy fields, there feels like for me this bunkering down and hibernation energy for the next 2 to 3 months that's percolating around me. We're really being asked to feel more, to listen more, to slow down, to surrender what we're trying so hard to control. And perhaps some of you are already feeling this. You might be more emotional than usual, and you might be having some very vivid dreams and dream states. You might find old memories, relationships, patterns coming back, calling back into your awareness, like you're revisiting. And you might suddenly see something different that you've never seen, that you've been seeing before, but it's hitting you differently at a different note within your body. Or perhaps you're simply just feeling tired of carrying something that you've carried for way too long. Over here in New Zealand, in between the eclipse periods, we have had a surge in the hospitals and flu-like symptoms. And, you know, that doesn't surprise me because the heart is wanting to lead, and it can't lead while the lungs, the container, is holding all the old energy. And so it's a sacred releasing, a sacred recalibration and alignment. And our energy field is asking us to very much release the stories, the patterns, the behaviors, the memories, in order to hold space for us to hold more of our own divine light. And what are you really ready to release? That is what I feel the medicine of this eclipse lies. What stories are you carrying that no longer belongs to you? And what versions of yourself are you still trying to prove? What expectations are you carrying because you were told you had to? And where are you holding on because letting go feels so frightening? Where have you confused loyalty with staying somewhere that your soul has already left. This eclipse is inviting you and us collectively into an emotional release, into surrender, into deep inner knowing, and into compassion. But for so long we've been taught that compassion is about abandoning self. And I want to say that's got to stop. Compassion is not about self-abandonment. It is about owning yourself. I want us to sit with that for a moment. Because as a woman, we have become so incredibly good at holding everything together. Holding our families, holding our friendships, holding our businesses, holding everyone else's emotions, being the strong one, being the one that just gets shit done, being the one that just keeps going and going and going, and being the one who makes everything okay for everyone else. I think I might have written this podcast about myself. I'm having an aha moment, people. And perhaps this eclipse is asking, what would happen if you all just put some of that down? What if you allowed yourself to be held? What if you allowed yourself to be supported? What if you stopped abandoning yourself to keep everyone else around you fucking comfortable? We no longer need to stop. We need to stop making people feel comfortable at the cost of us keeping ourselves small. What if surrendering wasn't about weakness? What if surrendering was actually a form of a deep feminine power? There is something quite extraordinary about this particular eclipse. Around 96% of the moon will pass through Earth's shadow, making this particular eclipse a very deep lunar eclipse. We all know right now the Earth, the collective, has a pretty big shadow it doesn't actually want to see. And while here in Aotearoa, New Zealand, the moon will be very low or below the horizon for much of this eclipse, I don't believe you need to physically see the eclipse to work with it symbolically and reflect in the reflections it offers. Sometimes the most powerful things happen with us when we cannot see them. And that is, to me, Pisces. The unseen, the felt, the knowing, the whisper in the breeze, between the noise. And this is where such a beautiful connection with she starts to form. Because perhaps this eclipse isn't about you becoming someone new. Perhaps it's about you asking to release everything that was never truly you. The expectations, the conditioning, the old identities, the stories, the need to be everything to everyone else at the cost of you. The woman who had survived, the woman who is strong, the woman who has learned to make herself small to make others around her comfortable. Hallelujah, we're getting rid of that version. And the woman who learned to silence her intuition. And beneath all of this, beneath all of that, there she is, still. The woman who has always known. The woman underneath the roles. The woman underneath the expectations. The woman underneath the stories. She. And perhaps this is what this eclipse is really inviting us into. Not becoming someone new, but remembering who the hell we have forgotten. As we move through this eclipse energy, instead of asking, what do I need to manifest? I invite you to ask, what am I really ready to release? Who am I ready to forgive? What am I ready to stop carrying? And what am I ready to surrender? And then, who might I become if I no longer need to carry any of this? Because sometimes, The next version of you isn't about you working harder. It's not about you pushing through more. It's not about you trying to prove. It's not about you simply waiting for you to make space for her. It's perhaps over the next few days creating something quiet. Go outside, sit beneath the moon, take a salt bath, journal, meditate, put your hand on your heart and ask yourself, and I mean really fucking ask yourself. None of this kumbaya love and light bullshit. Actually ask yourself, what is my soul asking me to release? Don't force it. Don't try and figure out the answer. Just sit and listen. Because perhaps this eclipse isn't here to take something away from you. Perhaps it's here to free you from what you were never meant to carry in the first place. And perhaps what comes after the surrender is remembering. And what comes after the remembering is the becoming. So I invite you, release, surrender, remember, become. And maybe, just maybe, beautiful souls, this is an invitation to come home to she.